welcome back to AV Chess Lab. We're here in chess.com. We're going to play some games, 5 minutes, and let's see if we can learn something. Okay, so we have our first opponent. He opens up with e4. Let's just go for a Sicilian with c5. Okay, d4. All right, I think we'll just take. Queen takes, and we get to develop our knight with tempo, hitting the queen. I think the queen's supposed to go to e3 there, yeah. And then I'm not too sure how this line goes. And since I'm not sure, I'm just going to develop normally. I want to put my bishop on g7, bishop to g7, pawn to d6, knight to f6, and develop my pieces this way. Okay, so obviously white is planning to castle queenside. The question is how we're going to deal with that. If knight to f6, I was worried about e5, but it doesn't work. We have knight g4. If e5, knight g4, and we'll be attacking the queen and pawn, so it doesn't quite work for him yet. Okay, now we get to castle. So, okay, so my opponent's playing, he's playing fast and he's playing very aggressive. Fast and aggressive. It's a good combination to have. Honestly, I'm not sure. I probably should have gone pawn to h5. Maybe allowing him to play h5 was not smart. But okay, he's gonna have to prove that the exchange is something here. All right, it's a good move. He wants to go here. Okay, knight here. If bishop h6, knight g6. I also had bishop g4. And if f3, bishop takes h6. That didn't work. Bishop takes g7, king takes g7. He has a 4 now here, which is quite annoying. I think it's a very interesting move. He's playing well. Extremely well for someone rated 800. Which is nice. Means he's working hard every day trying to improve. Wow, he doesn't even take my pawn. He goes straight for the attack. But can I just take this now? Okay, now I have no issues. Now that the queens are off the board, this game should be over. Just have to make sure I trade some pieces, and he is actually helping me achieve that. Okay, so he resigns. Let's take a quick look at the game report and the analysis and see if we could have improved somewhere. The main thing I want to check is if I played correctly with allowing the h5 move. And according to this, I made one mistake, and I wonder if that was it. Let's see. Let's take a look at the analysis. e4, c5, all this stuff is okay. So what's the book move here? I'm supposed to play knight f6. I guess the same idea. He's not attacking. e5 is not a move. Okay. Okay, so far everything's standard. And here I should have played d5. Well, makes sense. Striking the center right away. Okay, d6, h5. Okay, knight takes h5 was correct. I was wondering. Takes. And this move is bad. Oh, queen a5 is horrible. So here I was supposed to play h4, queen g5, h6, queen to h5, and then queen to b6. Okay. So this is what the computer is suggesting. h4 attacking the queen, queen to g5, we go h6. Then the queen goes to h5, and we go queen to b6, getting out of the pin, and at the same time attacking the pawn on f2. All right, makes sense. All right, so after that, I don't think there's anything that needs to be calculated further. So how do we go back to playing another game now? Do we have to go back here? Okay. Okay. Okay, we got 12 points. We're almost 800. I have to raise this rating somehow. Okay, so we have paid in full. Okay, I like e4. I've been an e4 player all my life. And my opponent plays the French. Didn't Magnus say that the French is no good? And definitely not if you're going to play with c6. It's funny because it's saying French defense normal variation. There's nothing normal about this variation, and there's definitely nothing normal about the French. b5. No respect. So what happens if we take? We take, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen to a5 check, knight to c3, bishop to b4. Seems strong, this variation. But then I can, if it goes for that, maybe I could bring my bishop back, and then I'll have the bishop pair. Okay, I'm gonna go for that. He's gonna get his pawn back. Actually, he might even win a pawn. But I'm gonna have a lot of development and the bishop pair. Oh wow, he went for bishop to a6. Okay, queen a4. I'm up a pawn, so I'm just looking to maybe trade some of the heavy pieces. And it almost, he's not forced to trade queens, of course. He can go queen b6. Any other move besides queen b6 or loses pretty much, or you know, or he trades was the other move he needed to consider. But here I'm just getting quick development and trading pieces. I'm already up a pawn, so it's good. If he trades queens now, for example, queen takes, knight takes, I'm hitting c7. So when he protects that, I can go ahead and develop another piece, but he forgot about it, and we're just going to win the material. Okay, let's take the knight out. Well, while we can. And this is just over. We're up a full rook. So this is just a matter of time, as it's usually the case against when you're playing 800 rated players. You just play normal moves and somehow they just find a way to collapse. Okay, and I think that loses a piece after, since I have a check on b6. We'll pre-move them, rook takes a6. And now we're up a rook and a bishop. No, you're not gonna just win so easily, my bishop. Okay, so now it's the moment of truth. What's the fastest way to finish off my opponent? Okay, I think the fastest way is to take all his pawns. I'm not worried about my 2 minutes and 31 seconds. It's plenty of time to finish off this game. Okay, I'm gonna put this rook behind this pawn and just push it out the board. Okay, and my opponent called it a day. Let's take a look at the game report. It's always good to look at the game. Although I don't believe in this one, there's much to look at. I just want to look at where my opponent went wrong here with b5. And I'm guessing my assessment, well, bishop a6 was not good, but I was looking at bishop to b4. So bishop to b4, pinning. And I was looking at, oh, but we can play queen d3 here. Ah, I missed that move. Queen to d3 protects everything. Okay, in that case, then there's nothing else to look at. After that, the game was pretty much done. Okay, so let's see. We have Brian from the USA. All right, let's play e4 again. e5. Should we play normal stuff or should we get a little tricky? Okay, let's go King's Gambit time. I haven't played this since I was maybe 1600. So I honestly don't remember a lot of this stuff. But it's okay. All I know is that I should develop my pieces quickly. Now that this pawn is here, if it ever get captured, I would have the open F file for my rook in some cases. And he's preparing to go G5. So he's investing a lot of time in trying to keep his extra pawn. So I have to make sure that I act fast and accurately so that he doesn't get what he wants. So an interesting move that I've seen a lot is that this knight protects the pawn from h5. And I remember a game that I had, and I ended up winning, but it was tough trying to get my pawn back. And then he ended up playing g5 anyway, and I couldn't really, like, it wasn't this position, of course. At least I don't remember if it was this position or not. But I'm thinking e5, knight to h5, castling. But then he can start, like, maybe going d6 or g5. So maybe I should stay a little bit more flexible with a move like knight to c3 instead, keeping my pawns the way they are. Okay, I anticipated that move will come. I'm not too, like, I really want to take the pawn. Bishop takes. He has knight takes. Queen e2, d5. Okay, I think we're gonna go for this now. If knight to e4, queen to d3. And if knight takes, pawn takes. And when the bishop goes away, The bishop will go somewhere, maybe to e7. We'll take the pawn on f4. He also has queen h4 check. Oh, no, he doesn't. What am I talking about? Hallucinating. I'm hallucinating like Beth Harmon with her special blue pills. And no, it is not Viagra, the pills she was taking in the show. Okay, my opponent's burning quite a little bit of time. And wow, knight to f2. I did not anticipate that move. He could have just taken on c3. Not sure why he thought his knight was stuck there. All right. I don't think this game is going to require much of an analysis considering what my opponent just did. And this bishop's keeping a very good eye on the f7 pawn, so it cannot move forward because it's pinned. And now the threats are plenty, I guess. Knight to e4, c3, knight to f6 after is also a move. I'm not even gonna touch that pawn. I'm gonna come here. And after pawn takes, pawn takes. This move is interesting for sure. And I almost want to sacrifice my exchange, but it's not necessary. Oftentimes when I get such a winning position, I kind of relax and I don't make the best moves. And sometimes it comes back to haunt me. Sometimes my opponents make a little comeback. But I don't think this game is going to be one of those. So my plan is I'm going to go rook here, bishop here, move my knight and play some c3 and threaten checkmate. Not sure if my opponent is going to be prepared for that. I want to go b4, bishop b6, bishop b1, and then I'm just going to go knight to 2 and c3 and threaten checkmate. I'm going to go knight e2 first, just to confuse my opponent. And he's going to go, oh, he's going to go a5. He keeps giving me free stuff. And when you give me free stuff, I just take it. Ooh. Ooh, knight to f4. You see what I mean? I just play fast and play bad moves, but that rook is hanging, my friend, because of this mighty pin that always existed and was mentioned earlier. Now it's really over. I'm up like a ton of pieces here. I don't even know what to take with. Everything is just winning. But now we have knight here, knight to g6 ideas. Okay, but that has to lead to mate somehow. Check. Check. And checkmate. All right, good game. I'm not even gonna look at the game report here. It's gonna say nothing good about this game. So let's play one more. Oh, finally a black game against Smoke THC. Wow. Smoke THC. For those of you who don't know what THC is, that's marijuana. My friend smoked THC. I kind of want to play something interesting to this game. Something that I usually don't play. What can that be? Let's just play A6. I usually play D5, C5, but not in this game. I'm gonna go for this, put my bishop on B7. Oops, bishop B7. Why can't I make arrows? Oh, there you go. B4. That move is a little unknown to me. I mean, just the fact that I don't know what it's doing. Okay, I couldn't just take because of C3, and once I move my bishop back, then he could have had like knight to E5, threatening my rook. Okay, but this game is just, it's just over. Too much free stuff. Now we just need to consolidate the position. He's gonna go maybe C4, taking advantage of the pin. And we'll play C6. We can even go B4 if we want to also, but no B4. I think C6. And little by little develop the pieces. And okay, so this is now looking really good. He doesn't even have the C4 idea he had previously. So let's see where he decides to put his queen. Queen C3, I'm guessing. Queen to A3. I'm getting nothing right against this guy. I guess I can take. Oh, no, I want to keep my my rook and this bishop. I should probably keep them in the same line for now. I'm up a piece. I don't need to get greedy by taking extra pawns. Let's just trade some pieces. If the queens leave the board, considering I'm up a piece, it's game over. So this variation is called the Albert Miles variation. So someone has actually played this stuff before. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna put my king to safety. No, I did not miss bishop to A3, sir. It was all calculated. Not really. I'm honestly not calculating a lot of moves. I'm just reacting at this moment. Okay, that just seems to me like a free pawn. So yeah, queen goes somewhere, and knight back to F6. And then just this knight to D7, and life is good. We're gonna play one more game after this. Hopefully we get a decent opponent. All these guys I played today, they just gave me a bunch of free stuff. And hey, I don't mind. Free stuff is good. But not a lot of value in the games today for sure. And again, it's like the theme of today. These guys just love giving me things. So now in order to simplify, I'm actually going to take bishop takes into h4, and he has to actually take my knight. Queen takes, and I'm just up too much material and a minute on the clock, so it's not looking good. Smoky. Is it Smoky THC or Smoke THC? I wonder how he pronounced it. Depends on how stoned he is, I guess. is how the pronunciation will go. Okay, queen to h4, threatening checkmate on h2. Okay, now we'll take. If knight takes, queen takes. So he has to take with the king. And after king takes, do we have anything here? Do we have any interesting shots? We don't. We simply don't. So let's go here. See if he wants to trade. We'll take. I have to admit that when they play like this, it's very undesirable. Like it just makes you not want to play. Okay, so this is coming. We're hitting the queen. We just have to make sure we don't get checkmated. But if we checkmate first, that's all that matters. So where is the checkmate here? There has to be a checkmate somewhere. There just has to be. King e2, queen takes f1 check. But now that he's gone there, where's the check? Is it on c5? Is it on f6? Let's give it here. If king here, if king there, this is checkmate. And he doesn't have a lot of other options. So, okay. All right. I don't think... Oh, he's challenging me. He wants to play another game. I'll give him another game. We'll make this the last one. He's a 904, so we'll drop him from the 900 club. All right, so every opportunity you get to take the center, you do. And next, we're just going to develop the pieces. And this has turned into a weird Sicilian perk thing. Maybe it's one of those like modern approaches. Ooh, but I don't like that move. I don't think you should combine this g6 with e5. Because your bishop is never going to g7. Then this pawn on d6 becomes weak forever. Okay, I like the setups. You see, now it's just a free pawn. That's why you don't play this move. You need to keep that pawn on e7, always protecting there. And you go bishop e7, knight to f6, and you play. But now again, this game is mostly over. Okay, bishop e3 runs into some knight to g4, so I'm not gonna go for... Let's not go for anything too crazy. At the moment, he can't castle, so that's good. And here, something very interesting. I can sacrifice my queen and really make this game interesting if I sacrifice my queen. And by I mean queen takes f8, knight or king takes f8, and bishop takes on h6. But I don't think there's any need to do any of that stuff. So let's just go here. My next few moves are going to be h3, bishop e3, and castle queenside. And he intends to castle himself. And I don't think there's anything I can do to prevent it. So let's just make normal developing moves that I had already more or less discussed that I wanted to do. Now, queen to d2 is a serious threat. trapping his knight on h6. I don't know if my opponent saw it and he played that move. But okay, we'll trade queens. Every opportunity to trade now, it's good. I honestly dislike that knight. He can always come to c4. And this now, yeah, he just keeps giving me stuff. Come back. We can castle next if its bishop remains there. If not, we'll castle kingside and put a rook on d1. We can also play rook d1, and if he takes, king takes, and if he checks, king c1. Okay, but he lets us play like this. I'll go rook d3. Just simply try to double my rooks. There's nothing to think about here. It's just a matter of trading pieces. We're up too many pawns, and by too many, 2. Which is enough. And now we're just going to knight to d5. I have to admit was interesting, but that, my friend, cannot be good. Aren't you losing after this move? The idea is that I'm taking here, right? So he has to protect this somehow. And then we have knight to b6, and his bishop is pinned, so he will end up losing his bishop. But here we again have this check followed by knight takes. Maybe even rook takes was better, since now I have to deal with this threat. It's not really a threat, but I have to deal with it. Okay, next we're gonna go knight b6, knight d5, not there, knight here, knight here. But okay, he plays that, and just another free pawn. Of course, he was going for some trickery, trying to checkmate me down the a file. But I don't think that's going to actually happen. Not in this game. So what's the best way to not allow him any counterplay whatsoever? Okay, I guess we'll go here. Just trying to make sure I don't get checkmated. That'd be very sad. Rook a7, king, pawn here, and I'm getting away. This knight protects the square on a2, so he doesn't have that check. And I'm actually going to play king b2 next myself. But he's coming with all his might. But now he doesn't have any checks. I have 151. I have to keep an eye on that. What to do here? Well, this allows a check. Maybe this move? His rook's running out of squares. So I'm gonna go pawn forward, next move. Or should I go here and like completely, nah, let's go there first and then knight to a4. Completely neutralizing everything. Okay, he has knight to c5. Pawn will take, rook takes, knight c3, knight back to a4. And life is good. And we have a minute and 22 seconds. Let's just keep a an eye on that, just in case. But okay, this is pretty simple at this point. The knight has to go somewhere, and then pretty sure he's getting checkmated after rook to d6. So this is the threat, rook to d6. So let's see, rook d6, king here, king pawn forward, king to h4, and rook takes h6. Looks like mate, right? Of course, he can delay it one more move by playing knight to e6. But this all seems forced and checkmate. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Smoke THC, for the games. All right, guys, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. As always, stay safe, have a great day, and show respect to your opponent. See you next time.